Oh man, they projected the future. Look at those push to start cars. Or it might just be pushed on.
I actually have an automatic start on my car.
Christ. I have to use a key like some kind of simpleton.
My parents got it to me for Christmas.
They were like, yo, you
because
need a
it
car,
gets cold
dude.
in the winter.
So they gave you a push to start car?
Yeah, so I can turn up the heat and then just start the car and have it automatically get warm by the time I get in there.
Oh, you know, it gets cold here too, Brandon. It gets as low as like 50 sometimes.
Oh, brr, I have to wear a hoodie.
I think the lowest we had, like, during our worst part a couple weeks ago was like 20 degrees.
So they have this plot point of the private security out muscling the actual cops in the city.
Right.
And that's why they need to have a cop that takes the fall. But unfortunately, like the rest of this game, they don't go into enough detail where it makes sense. Like like what they use can work. It's just they don't use enough detail to explain why it works. If that makes sense. Or if I'm just talking in circles.
Yeah, it's really it's kind of the Watch Dogs problem. This game just doesn't do enough with its universe, although in this case,
the Watch
seemed more
Dogs
like lack
problem
of
is
time.
that there are a ton of details that actively contradict each other. Whereas this problem is there's not enough details to really have even a solid coherent argument to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's different. It's like Watch Dogs' details conflict. In this game, it's not enough detail in general. There's similar problems, but they're not the same. If you know what I mean.
How many other people can get their paws on a bird in this place?
Not many. Hey, you better get going if you want to catch them. You keep on street level 2. Blue's around.
Alright, so this is the level we're gonna meet
I love that they subtitle warning high voltage, even though no one said that.
That's what this game does. It says subtitles, but it's actually closed captioning in it, or I'm not sure that's technically correct. What it does is it also subs signs in case you find it a little hard to see.
That's fair. That's a good idea, actually.
I don't know if that's for people who just can't see that well, or if that's due to like all the motion. They just want to make sure you're not missing things. It is interesting. I don't mind it that much.
It's
fine.
Probably for this level in particular, it's important to have that there so that.
I think the first time I did this level, I just went up to the fence and shocked myself
It's
to death.
directly relevant to your platforming in this early stage of this level.
Yeah. I think the first time I did that, I just died
So you
immediately.
notice that in this level we're having a lot of points where you have to make a jump that breaks your flow because you have to go till you drop back to zero momentum afterwards.
Right. I really
and they start doing that a bit more often as the game goes on.
There is an interesting system in this game as far as animations go, and I think other games have cribbed it since, but not really before, where depending on at what angle you land at, you'll actually get a different mounting animation.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're near the very top when you jump something, she'll just put one foot up and go over, whereas if you're very low, she'll have to do the one hand and then very slowly get the other hand up. So it's interesting that it's like if you're good enough, you can bypass some of the flow dampeners, but there's
also
like that
an
you just
interesting
cannot
little
get high enough for.
factoid that for speedrunners of this game that I found out while watching the two best friends playthrough of Mirror's Edge is that apparently, like, for a lot of speedrunners, it's often better to not roll because you will keep momentum going when you fall and hit the ground on your feet and take some damage, and you'll go faster overall than when you were rolling.
Oh, well, do you mean, though, when you take the soft damage, not the one where you have to do
like
the knee-breaking
damage, not
damage?
the hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like, it's often just faster to not roll at all than it is to roll and break the fall damage.
Interesting.
Because you don't get to a point where you have to do the high fall roll very often.
Not too often.
Or
definitely
compared to the soft roll.
I definitely got a little scared of falling far in this game, so I ended up rolling more than I needed to.
Yeah. But like it's often like just to go faster. Like in real life, you'd want to roll because otherwise you'd break your knees. But in video games, you can just heal by waiting for a few seconds, by running for a few seconds. So it's fine. You know, obviously the best way to heal your damaged knee is to run on it.
I do wonder what this game would be like without regenerating health of any kind. That would certainly be a different game.
Oh yeah,
running with
probably
like
not
red
a
in your
better one.
eyes.
Probably a worse one.
Might be one of the few games to make a case for regenerating health.
Miller. Shit.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, Miller double-crossed us.
Blue. He's with Ropeburn.
Yeah.
Except his neck in this Icarus stuff.
Except he
I'm
didn't.
heading up. See what I
Oh,
can
it's
find out
just
about Pope and
spoilers though.
To be fair, his
Spoilers.
name is Miller, and fuck Miller.
You're gonna run after him? Fuck Miller so much. I hate everybody named Miller now. Everybody's related to Miller.
But what if I legally change your name to Miller Callahan?
I mean, there is a Callahan in this game. It's spelled differently though.
Yeah.
Ah! So this was the QT you were talking about earlier that you
Yes.
failed over and over.
Like, if you haven't done this, your first time doing this is really, really hard. And I got this wrong so many times.
Fun thing though is that you can do the slowdown time during this if you have trouble with it.
Yeah.
Which I think I used like once during this whole game. During the first level, it just where the screen turns slightly blue and you slow down time a little.
Yeah, and I think that was mostly to show off at that point, just so we could see it.
Yeah, like
Who killed Pope?
I guess you could use it as a crutch maybe, but I don't really see why unless you're having a hard time keeping up.
I love how it's like, you kill Ropeburn, and he goes, no, I hired someone.
So you kill. Oh god, the mall!
You with Miller.
Oh, the mall.
I would have let him fall because I don't trust him, quite frankly.
You'll be fine. You're 1 from 2. Oh no, look at that mysterious assassin. Oh,
Yeah.
he's dead.
They got Ropeburn.
Who's wearing, like, mobile riot gear.
Party, Faith. Get out of
Oh, so why is the building on fire beneath you? Is that just coincidence?
It could just be, like, smoke from, like, a ventilation system.
No, there was actual fire coming out. I think that's why the cops were there.
Oh, that's weird.
I never noticed that before. I don't know if the assassin set off fire.
We'll know, like, it... What
Oh,
happened
shit.
is that the assassin killed someone, and then she lit the room on fire, and then frames you for lighting the room on fire.
But not the killing of the guy?
Yeah, it's like Hitman Absolution.
Oh no. Don't tell me that.
That is the worst cutscene in video game history.
Oh, the fire one with the cowboy guy in Absolution?
Yes, that is the worst cutscene in video game history.
Seems Jackknife was banging.
I don't know. I kind of like the cowboy guy
count,
though.
I can't count the problems in that cutscene. There's so many.
Signal. Try and find a way through.
Alright. So we're out of the building.
Signal set. Seems you might be
And-
clear the blues for now.
So we don't go to the mall in this level, do we? Maybe we do.
I think you do, actually.
Oh shit. It actually means this
You
level has a
just
lot of...
recorded this. How did you not know?
I re-recorded most of these levels too.
Like,
Oh boy, blues going into the
I know that, like, I have the excuse because I haven't played this game in years. You played this yesterday.
I feel like long-time viewers at some point are just gonna be like, how does Sam remember to put his pants on every morning? Because holy shit. It's really bad at this. I
Yeah.
don't remember anything, man.
If you're fast enough, you can actually get down there
Yes.
before those open.
You're not bad at video games like me.
Yeah. I just want to point that out because
Yeah.
people might not know that. Because I've actually never been fast enough. Well, I might have like 5 years ago, but no, have no chance now.
I used to be fast enough for that, not anymore.
Yeah. Like when you played this game
Yeah.
religiously when it came out, like I did.
Oh, you know what? We're doing the subways next. That's what's coming up. I think the mall's the next
the
level.
subway.
Subway. When I first did the first run recording for this, I think I recorded the whole game twice.
Talking about flow breakers, the subway.
But I think I got to I think up to this point I was doing pretty alright. The subway was where I started dying constantly.
Sometimes that can't be avoided. That's just a natural, like, the subway level is not fun.
Sometimes it was also just my impatience where I was like, because, you know, it was breaking the flow and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to keep running. And it's like, no, there's a subway behind.
Like what you want to do is you want to do this all in one flawless, seamless motion. But the game does not want you to do that. You are going to be waiting, God damn it.
Oh, it's so bad.
And we keep saying this, but this game does excel when it's letting you do all this in like a fluid motion. Well,
Sure.
once it does things like this that just make you have to stop and wait and do traditional platforming, it doesn't work. Like, I guess that's why this game's first-person platforming works, is that it's not really traditional platforming. In the sense of, like, you're jumping on top of platforms, you're waiting for things to go past, that kind of stuff. Like,
Oh god, that would be so boring. Yeah.
that's where it fails. Where it excels at is this feeling of the flow.
Yeah.
So I guess that's probably why this game's first-person platform works where a lot of others don't, because it's not really platforming per se. It's navigation. It's navigation with...
Boom. Back we go. The magic of editing. Faith never
It's
dies.
the navigating of a 3D space that's important, not necessarily the platforming itself.
Right.
Like, the controls are more of a way of translating the way you want it to go so that the game can understand it. There's not so much a challenge to use the controls in and of themselves. They're very simple to use. Deliberately so. Because that's the fun of it, is finding the path that works, not necessarily executing on that path.
Whew.
Does that make sense to you, Sam, or...?
Yes. Alright. I've seen this footage so
my
much
God,
now that I'm
this-
just droning.
How many times did it take for you to get the train right?
Probably about 5 or 6.
Because it's really easy to either over or undershoot the train.
And then I'm probably died a good 4 times on the train. Because the first 2 times I did this, I didn't jump trains when he told me to. Like, I just stayed on the same one.
Oh,
died.
man. So we're seeing, like, take 4.
Yeah, something like that. Like, probably 5 or 6.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny because this is a game that I play, like, every year. And I must have played, like, good 7 times when it first came out. And I still
I
forgot
actually
about that.
find these kinds of sections of games really interesting, where it's not really platforming, it's avoiding the obstacles as you stay still.
Yeah, I can see that.
I find these sections really fascinating from a design standpoint. Even though it's not really that much different from like a platforming section, it feels a lot different.
Well, it reverses who has the movement from you to the object, which is interesting in its own right.
It's novel. And
For the limited time it has.
And even though like it's an old trope in games, it still feels novel when you're doing it for like a single segment.
Kind of bummed that I actually didn't take longer on that train, because usually when I used to do it, I used to like at the last second you'd go through.
Yeah.
More trouble, so
But
let's on a job
that was
near you.
good.
She'll help you out.
It's less like, hey.
I think it's funny because Jackknife said you'd meet the assassin in the park, and guess who you meet?